Hi, it's Holly and I am back with another video. I'm in a new place. I turned my dining room into like a library. So I'm doing more contemporary romance recommendations. I always like doing these videos like whenever I have a decent amount of books to recommend. I was recently looking at like my videos, and my recommendation videos tend to get a lot of views. Especially my historical romance recommendations, which I do plan on doing another one of those, so stay tuned. But over like the last year and a half, I've been reading a lot more contemporary romance. Growing up in romance, historical and paranormal were definitely the two worlds I have spent the most time in. But I would read a contemporary every once in a while, which is hilarious because a contemporary romance was my first romance. My first recommendation is Jill Shalvis, which I feel like not really like a secret that she's a good contemporary writer, you know. And I happen to own Simply Irresistible, which is the first book in her Lucky Harbor series. I haven't read like a lot from Jill Shalvis, but I've read a decent amount. I only own 2 of her books, but I've read 3 or 4 in this series, I think, and then I've read almost the whole Animal Magnetism series, which I really like. They're just cute, fun, contemporary romances. Lucky Harbor takes place in like the Pacific Northwest, I think. Did I just give myself a paper cut? Who knows? Yeah, like up that area. She definitely writes small town romance with tons of like quirky characters and everything. The Lucky Harbor series starts with kind of like almost like a trilogy, sort of, about 3 sisters, and then like expands after that. This is the first one in this series, is massive. And if you like small town romance, then you would probably like her books. They tend to be pretty cute. We'll have some serious elements, but nothing like crazy or anything. Like I mentioned in my reading romance like sketch video, not high quality, but I hope it's funny. I don't know. I think that Jill Shalvis and Rachel Gibson are very similar, so if you like Rachel Gibson, I think you would like Jill Shalvis, and if you like Jill Shalvis, relatedly, I think you would like Rachel Gibson. I believe I've recommended her in the past, though. So, I would definitely recommend Alice Clayton. So, like, there's her Cocktail series, which Wallbanger is the first one. Currently, she is releasing the Hudson Valley series. Nuts is the first one. Then Cream of the Crop, and then Buns, which is not out yet. The Cocktail series is like a trilogy of books that follows one particular couple, and then there are related, I can't see them, they're too far away, I think 2 books about 2 other people, like other couples. She also has the Redhead series. The first one is The Unidentified Redhead, but I prefer these ones a little bit more than the Redhead series. Wallbanger is apparently Twilight fanfiction, which in retrospect, knowing that now, I see it a little bit, but I feel like it's pretty different. Like, it's definitely like developed beyond that a lot. Her writing tends to be pretty funny. It is very sexy and steamy. Especially in the Hudson Valley series, sometimes a little too much so, but I love Wallbanger and the Cocktail series. I think it's laugh out loud hilarious. However, it's not for everybody. I don't know if I could really tell you what you would or wouldn't like. This is a very divided book, like, because I feel like this is the book that when people think of Alice Clayton, this is what they think of, and I think part of that is because it's just like eye-catchy, and the title is kind of like off-putting or intriguing. You either really like it or you really don't like it. And if you read one of her books and you don't like it, I don't think you would like any of her other stuff. But I really enjoy her, so, you know, there's that. And then there is Julie James. I've read like a couple of her standalones, but really I've only read the FBI U.S. Attorney series. I think that's actually what it's called. Not the best series title, but pretty accurate. This is the first book, I believe, Something About You, and I actually read these completely out of order. I got them mostly from the library, and then my library didn't have this one, so I bought it, and I really enjoyed these. These are a little bit suspense-y, like, but not really romantic suspense. Like, yeah, they're classified still as contemporary romance, but they definitely have some suspense elements. I'm not a big fan of romantic suspense. I've read some, but it's really not for me. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I really enjoy these. They tend to be a little funny. The hero and heroine tend to bicker a lot, and I'm pretty much a sucker for that. And there's a lot of what Sarah Wendell from Smart Bitches Trashy Books calls confidence porn, which is where characters are like really good at what they do, and I find that very intriguing. Like these characters, whether they're FBI agents or lawyers, and this goes for all of Julie James's books because a lot of them follow like lawyers and stuff. I think she is a lawyer. Yes. She knows a lot about it. So of course she would write what she knows. And these characters are very passionate about their careers, and I find that interesting as a reader. And then my last one is specifically A Bollywood Affair by Sonali Dev. This is the only book I've read by Sonali Dev. I've thought about reading the other books in this series. It's like a companion series, but it's just like they seem so different that I'm scared to read it. But this book got a lot of like chatter for like, I just kept hearing about it forever and ever, and I did read it last year. I read it a long time ago. It totally earned everything about it. First of all, like obviously there's diversity in it, which is great, and I'm like a sucker for Indian culture and Indian American culture, and like just I've always been fascinated with India, and I've been fascinated with like their way of life and their culture and their food and their clothing. And then this is interesting because it's a contemporary romance, but it reads almost like a historical because you have these almost very traditional English values within these characters. And it's interesting because how much of that is because England had colonized and like infiltrated so much of Indian society versus how much of it is actually Indian society and everything. But it takes place in America, and it's about an arranged marriage, and it's very interesting, and it's great, and there's like enough of those like Indian elements that like it feels fully realized and it feels real, without it being like a PSA or too much or anything. I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and the cover is just beautiful. It is full of cliches, but I like that, of course. I've said that before. I love cliches. It's what you do with them. And it really works in this book. So those are my contemporary romance recommendations. I'm not sure what that was. Those are my contemporary romance recommendations, part 2. Down in the description is links to a lot of my other recommendation videos. I'm not sure if I got all of them, but I think I did, because I've done new adult, contemporary romance, historical romance, paranormal romance. And if you have any thoughts or opinions on these, whether you agree with my recommendation or not, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any recommendations for me or anyone else about contemporary romance, like I said before, romantic suspense, I don't know, feel free to leave them as well. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!